guys! It's 2025 and I am super excited to get started on this first video of the year. We're going to revisit the video that kind of kicked things off and you guys got to see and engaged with and commented, and it was really, really awesome, the Alice in Wonderland diorama. So I'm going to do a painting, but we're going to let fate decide what we paint. Behold, the Wheel of Destiny. This is going to be choosing what we put on our painting, just to spice it up a little bit. I've not done it before. You never know, it might be my new way of making decisions because I am not good at that. Dead pumped for this. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, because by the end of the year, I want to get that silver play button. So 98,000 more subscribers to go, but we're on our way and you're here. So thank you so much for your support. I love it. Let's do this. Is that the white rabbit or the flamingo? We might have to do both. I definitely want to include Alice as the main focus of the painting. The wheel has spoken and we have got our other items that we need to include in this design. And they are, first up, we need to have some playing cards floating around in there somehow. Second up is toadstools. Now, I'm pretty happy about that because in the diorama I did the trees as big toadstools, so I think that will be quite cute. And then with our last spin, we had a bit of a draw between the white rabbit and the flamingo, which I actually really want to paint the flamingo on there. I want to do this painting in my kind of style, a bit modern, cool. So let's get on and do some designs. Let's do Alice from the front view because in the diorama you don't actually get to see her face. Our diorama was a keyhole, so let's make it a keyhole shape. So that's a rough idea of what I'm thinking. I think that could be quite cool. Let's get it drawn up on the iPad and transfer it to our canvas. Okay, I've mocked up our final sketch in Procreate. I've already got rid of a ton of the layers that we prepped with. I'm doing it as a keyhole shape to match our diorama. But what I want to do now is just lay down some block colours on here. When we've transferred it onto the board, I roughly know what colour's going where and just double check that the composition kind of works properly. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the overall look of this. I think when we actually paint it, it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to put it on the board and then we paint. While I was finishing the sketch and just changing a couple of bits, I've noticed that my board has got a couple of blemishes that are too much to just paint over. So what I'm just going to do is put a little bit of filler over the areas, and then just in the morning when we come back we'll just be able to sand it off and it will just be nice and smooth. I'm super excited. She's looking pretty awesome. Okay, I'm back. I ended up putting filler pretty much over the whole board just to get rid of the paintbrush lines from when I painted on the gesso. What we're going to do now, we're just going to sand it off, get a layer of matte medium on mixed with a bit of burnt sienna or raw sienna just to take the edge off the bright white, and then we'll be able to get painting. This is 1,000 on the sanding scale, whatever the sanding scale is. It's P1000, so it's really, really, really more like a wet sandpaper. Okay, so now we're ready to paint. Before we start, I just need to prep this palette. Now, from some advice that I got from you guys, I've been out and bought a stay wet palette. And I'm hoping that this is going to help our acrylics stay wet for longer, which will make them feel a bit more like oils. I also got an extender. So this is going to be a godsend, I think, for our painting. And I'm super excited to get trying with this because there's lots of bonuses to using acrylic. Like it dries quickly, you can paint on furniture and things, whereas you're not really going to paint on furniture with oil. It takes too long to dry, you wouldn't be able to finish it. just be a nightmare. So if I can get the hang of this, I think it will be really worthwhile. I mean, there's no end really to the tools that you should have on your belt. So this tub has just got some hot water in it. We've got to soak this sponge for 15 minutes apparently, so I'm going to pop that in there. So while that's soaking, let's get our matte medium mixed with a bit of raw sienna onto our board. And then timing wise, everything should work out and we'll be ready to paint. Right, let's get this coat of matte medium and burnt sienna on here. Hopefully it's not too dark. Our sponge is done. Let's get our paper in the water. We'll get our sponge out. Well, that fits nicely in that gap now, that's good. Now our paper, I think we just kind of brush off the top a little bit. Ooh, exciting. Really interested to see how this goes. It's ready. Okay, we're ready to go. Let's get our paints on the palette. We're going to start by doing the background, dark colours up to light in lots of layers. I think it's going to look so good. I'm really excited about it. Let's go. First up, we're just going to be blocking in the main colours, and I'm going to start from the top. Our base of blocking out the colours is done, so now it's time to do the details. I did just leave for a second. I put the lid on this, so I'm hoping that this is still going to be okay. They've run into each other a little bit, but still super wet, maybe even more wet than when they went in there. So that's good. That means that's working. So let's get on and do the details. I've also never painted on a flat surface like this, so it's freaking me out. I feel like getting my easel so I can put my painting up right and see exactly what I'm doing. But we'll continue and we'll see how we go. I think we're going to go onto Alice's face now. Okay, let's get started on the roses and the toadstools. So I've just masked off our flamingo so that we can paint the white rose that's underneath. It will just be easier to see where the shadows of each of the petals are and the highlights. So let's get on, do our white rose, do the white rabbit, and then we're nearly done. So the final thing for this project, I was just going to paint the outside of this, but I had a really good idea over the weekend. Why don't we make it like actual wood? So I've got some foam. I'm going to slice it into planks and texture them like wood, and then we'll stick them on, paint it, and I think that might look pretty cool. Right, texture time. Okay, our wood pieces are ready to paint now. First, I'm going to paint them with a layer of matte medium. Then we're going to paint them almost black, like a really, really dark brown. And then we'll lighten them up by dry brushing them, but leaving the dark edges. And then when we put it all together on the picture, it'll look really good. So let's do that now. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, help me out, and let me know what you think of the final result. Okay, I've mixed up a really dark burnt umber. So now we're just going to put the first coat on. This is going to get all the dark in the grooves and around the edges, and then we'll lighten it up by dry brushing it. But the dry brushing will really bring out the detail. So these are all done now, but just before we put them on our board, let's do a layer of brown around the edge of the keyhole, just to cover any discrepancies with the foam. Right, let's get all of these stuck onto here. We'll just lay them out first. This is going to look so good. Perfect. Right, let's get these stuck on. This looks so cool. Okay guys, we are finally done and I absolutely love it. What do you think? And how cool are these little gold buttons? I knew they'd come in handy for something. I really like how it's come out. I'm really pleased with it. Let's go to the close-ups. I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, subscribe, like, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.